Hi, y'all. So, this is the second part of my conversation with Hacksplained about bug bounties and our careers in Infosec. Check out the first part here. What about your situation? What is it like working physically full time at a security company?
It's great. I mean, you have all those folks around, right? In Europe, I
Hmm.
guess we have smaller offices. So I'm actually working in an office with
Oh, okay.
just four seats. I mean, the
Hmm.
building the building is huge, but our office just has four desks. So it's me and three of my
Hmm.
colleagues. And
Hmm.
yeah, you obviously get to work, and the first thing in the morning is you grab a cup of tea or coffee together, and you stand around the table and talk about the stuff that you've been doing the last day or something like that. So that's cool to have that
Hmm.
proximity. And actually, I mean, obviously now with COVID, we have to work from home as well. And the thing I see is it's not as easy anymore to quickly work on something. So before that, you
Hmm.
were like, yo, can you have like a 5 minute look at my code or at my whatever issue that I can't exploit right now or
Hmm.
something like that? And that's not as easy as it was before anymore. But yeah,
Hmm.
it's similar. Right now, it's similar to what you just said with all those Slack channels, and it works out pretty
Hmm.
well. I mean, I think the most important part is that you shouldn't stop communicating. I'm not a big fan of texting all the time. When it takes longer than 2 minutes, I
Hmm.
always say, let's hop on
Yeah.
Zoom or have a quick call because it's way better, at least for
Hmm.
me.
That makes sense. Okay, that sounds awesome, actually. I guess I've always worked as a freelancer, so I've always worked kind of independently, but I am a really social person, so I really want to have that kind of relationship with my colleagues and my coworkers as well. But currently, during the pandemic, it's not very possible to grab a coffee with my colleagues. But after the pandemic, hopefully, I'm hoping that I will meet up with some or all of them physically at some point in time.
Yeah, I guess usually fully remote companies they would fly you in, right, once a year
Yeah,
or twice a year, and
yeah, I think so, but I'm not really sure. And also, before the pandemic, I actually found myself sort of duplicating the colleague experience when I was freelancing. Actually, I would go to like co-working spaces and get to know everyone there, or go to coffee shops and talk to people there. And in one of the coffee shops that I've been to, I've actually become like good friends with the people there. So that's
really.
just yeah, because you when you're a freelancer, you still need to get your daily dose of outside socialization. When you're in your home office all day, it could be kind of isolating, actually.
Absolutely. Were you able to, I don't know, like sit down in a coffee shop for 8 hours straight, or was that? I mean, I don't know. I guess over here people would looking at you in a strange way at one point if you sit there for quite a long time. Is that a
Oh,
thing in the
really?
US?
Okay, I think it's totally normal here, actually. A lot of people just go to coffee shops and they order like 2 cups of coffee and they sit there and work all day. And then they order lunch there as well, and they just treat it as like their remote office.
And the shop owner is totally fine with it if you sit there for 8 hours.
Usually, yeah, if you order something.
Interesting. I mean, I don't know. I haven't tried it out actually. I can't even tell.
Hmm.
I only know from my journeys in Bali and all those
Hmm.
places that you have those huge unofficial co-working spaces in all the coffee shops over there. So
Hmm.
that was quite interesting to look at as well. But back then I was just traveling, so I wasn't working
Hmm.
at a place like that.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's not a thing in Austria, but in the States, this is definitely a very big thing. Coffee shop as a place to collaborate and work on your own projects.
And I think it's so cool though that you were saying you got to see the same people over and over again, and you actually felt like those peeps were your colleagues, right? That's pretty
Yeah.
that's pretty interesting.
Especially when I was living in Evanston. So I went to Northwestern University, and when on the weekends, I would always go to like coffee shops to work on my projects. And very often you'll meet people that you see around campus or people you've seen in conferences and stuff like that. So there's a lot of opportunity to just strike up a conversation with them and chat about things. And you meet a lot of very interesting folks in coffee shops usually. I know like one of the big things in San Francisco prior to the pandemic, at least, is that people who want to be entrepreneurs, when they're just starting their companies, they go to coffee shops to meet investors and other entrepreneurs to exchange ideas and maybe get funding.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's also something where I guess the US is a couple of years ahead of Europe, or at least Central Europe, where I'm working in the whole funding situation. I think it's easier to get somebody who believes in your idea and who wants to fund you and help you out creating your company. At least from what I see from across the pond over here
Mhm.
in Europe, it seems like it's easier to start a business in the US than it is over here. But I
I'm not sure if that's true actually, because I've never started a company with funding myself. But yeah, it could be. I know the startup scene in California and in Texas, I think now is definitely very active. So
the
do you
whole
want to start a company yourself? Is that why you're asking these questions?
to, I was many times before playing with that thought. It would be super interesting,
What
but
kind of company would you start?
then there's that question. I mean,
I see. So that's enough.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't I wouldn't want to start a consultant company. I wouldn't
Hmm.
if I start a company, I want it to be a product.
Hmm.
That's I guess something I know, but hey, there is so much stuff out there already. I don't know. I Let's put it that
Yeah.
way. I won't be starting my own company within the next 1 or 2 years, I guess.
I think one of the things that about the security industry is that there are already so many products out there. I find myself thinking a lot about how I can find something new in this space where everyone seems to have already occupied every niche, you know?
Exactly. But then the next big unicorn pops out, and you were like, hmm, interesting.
Yeah, why haven't I thought of that?
That could have been me. And literally, I mean, today you can make money with everything, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of this app called Clubhouse. Everybody going nuts about it right now.
What's Clubhouse?
I haven't even been using it. It's just this I guess podcast social network thing where people got together and just talk. So like an
Oh,
Instagram for people talking.
uh-huh, uh-huh. It says, I just Googled search it and it says drop in audio chat.
Yeah, it works with that weird you're restricted to use it kind of marketing gag. So
Hmm.
once you're invited, I think you're allowed to invite two more people, and so it slowly spreads across the globe. But it's not just that
Hmm.
everybody can sign up immediately, and that makes it special.
Hmm.
But hey,
That's true.
I mean, I'm happy for those folks. Super excited for those people to. I guess
Hmm.
they are a unicorn by now, or I guess valued at more than $1 billion. So happy for them. But it
Wow.
excites me. It excites me every time I see a new company like that
Hmm.
popping up. So
Yeah.
there is still potential for us.
Yeah, I don't know about, I mean, starting my own company at this point. I quite like what I currently do, which is developer education and content creation. And I just want to continue doing that for now. You know, I used to have all these like company ideas that I wanted to do. But I really like my current job, you know, because I really like communicating with people.
Right. And that makes total sense. I mean, if you have something you really like, why changing it?
Yeah,
And I
that's
mean,
true.
you started a month ago. So.
But I also think what I like tends to change a lot. Like a few years ago, I used to think that I want to be a full-time bug bounty hunter just forever. But that turns out to be too isolating for me. and too stressful for me. So I eventually I very quickly transitioned out of full-time bug bounty hunting. Actually, just after 2 months of doing it, I'm like, I'm out. I'm not doing this anymore.
But you did it for 2 months? Okay, I didn't
Yeah,
know.
I did it for 2 months, and I was able to get a good salary within those 2 months actually. But then I just realized that all the stress of finding, for example, X number of bugs within that 1 month is really sucking out all the fun for me. The stress to pay rent, the stress to provide for myself, etc. Coupling that with something that I really enjoy was a really bad idea.
Yeah, I totally get that. Did you
Mhm.
did you end up working more during those 2 months or less, like in terms of hours? Because I guess what people most do in a situation like that is they
Mhm.
would just overwork themselves, I guess.
Yeah, I think I was working like pretty normal hours because I noticed that after like 5 6 hours of hunting, my brain would be completely just burned out. It wouldn't work anymore in hunting, so I have to change tasks to maybe blogging, writing, or
Right.
reading blogs instead of continue hunting, because after 5 6 hours I cannot. My brain is just overloaded with information. So I
Yeah,
didn't overwork because I wasn't able to, basically. But I think with a bug bounty, it's very easy to overwork because the more you work, the more rewards you get, basically.
yeah, absolutely. And then if you haven't found anything in the first 3 weeks of the month and you still got to pay your rent, then you better
Mhm.
work even more.
Right.
It could become, yeah, a little overwhelming. I've
Yeah.
I've 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 personally
Mhm.
never done it, to be honest.
Mhm. Yeah, I personally really enjoyed the freedom that it afforded me when I was full-time bug bounty hunting. I was just always in coffee shops, just doing whatever I wanted, just hunting occasionally. But it wasn't for me in the long run. But I could definitely see it being like a very good career path for some people.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, there's so many people already who are even millionaires by now, which is
Hmm.
mind blowing. I mean, those folks
Yeah.
have earned more in, I guess, 2 years than most people in their entire lives. So that's crazy.
Yeah, I know, right? Just makes you wonder how good they are at bug hunting, right? Because I would often go through like a few weeks of not finding anything, and I'm assuming that these people are just constantly finding bugs.
Yeah, but to be honest, a lot of those people they automate a lot. So I think Git,
Oh, right, right.
I think personally, I think Git, Bug Bounty. Sorry, that's the wrong way of putting it. Not Git Bug Bounty hunters, but the ones who have earned the most, I guess, are
Mm-hmm.
really good software developers
Mm-hmm.
because they automate everything out of it. It's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. I've seen a couple of tools people use, and
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy, but it makes a lot of sense. I mean, there is a good amount of tasks that you can automate, I guess, in the bug
Mm-hmm.
bunny world.
So these hunters, they're not using tools that are available open source on the internet.
No, 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 no.
Okay.
Because
What
I
are
mean,
they using then?
they're writing their own tools,
Okay.
but there's a lot of stuff that is getting shared, obviously, giving
Mm-hmm.
giving back to the
Mm-hmm.
community, like we, for example, do with our
Mm-hmm.
YouTube channels and stuff. But then there's also a
Mm-hmm.
big number of tools and frameworks that are not published on GitHub or anywhere publicly because it would it would be against their own revenue, against their own income, right? They want to keep the
Mm-hmm.
tools and frameworks for themselves to get more out of the bug bunny world, which makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, they've earned it, they've built it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. I think in the bug bounty world, there's this paradox where I'm surprised at how many people share knowledge, because by definition, I think the more you share about your tips and tricks, the less bounties you'll be able to get, and that doesn't seem to be like stopping people from sharing, which is what I find amazing.
It is, but in the end, or at least for me, I got most of my knowledge from exactly that,
Mm-hmm.
because people
Yeah.
were sharing. So you kind of have to give back, and that's also because we were talking about the motivation for our channels before. That's also
Mm-hmm.
been one of my biggest motivations to start mine, just to give back, because I got so
Mm-hmm.
much out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really cool. And I think a big thing that I got out of bug bounties was actually career opportunities and a community, really. And that's not something that you can get just from not sharing your knowledge and from just hoarding your tips and tricks all day. I think there's definitely value that you can get as well by sharing with other people, in addition to, the good feelings of giving back.
Absolutely, I fully agree. All right. So before wrapping this up, I do have one last question to you. And
Mm-hmm.
that is, do you have a hacking infosec idol?
Mm-hmm. I think the first person that comes into my mind is a Taiwanese hacker called Orange Tsai. I just remember when I first, before I even started Bug Bounties, actually, I was reading his blogs, and his blogs about SSRF and RCE just really inspired me to go into hacking because he goes into details about how he achieved these very complicated bug chains. And I just thought that was so cool because you can understand his thought processes and how he got it to his results. And that really inspired me because it made me feel like I can learn that as well if I put in enough hard work. So I would say he's my hacking idol, and he's still continuously putting out a lot of amazing content, actually. So I recommend everyone to
Oh,
check out his
absolutely.
blog. Hmm.
Absolutely. He's super
Hmm.
awesome. He's super, but
Oh, do you like him as well?
I love him. Yeah, he is always
Hmm.
super technical, which I guess differentiates
Hmm.
him a little bit from a lot of others. He always goes
Hmm.
super deep into details. But
Hmm.
has he shown his face before? I cannot really remember seeing his face somewhere. I always
He
see the
has actually.
oh
Let me.
it's
Uh
a
huh.
she.
Oh, it's a he.
It's a he. Okay.
Uh huh.
I always see this little orange, and I'm like,
Uh huh.
awesome.
So he's actually given a few talks in DEF CON and Black Hat, so you can check that out. His I think you'd have to search for his full name. I can send it to you
Yeah,
later.
I haven't been stalking him yet, but
Oh, okay, okay.
though I guess
Yeah, I stalk him very hardcore. Like I watch all his YouTube videos. It's actually pretty bad.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so you have to search for his full name. It's Cheng.Tsai.
Okay, yeah, I will do. I
Yeah.
will definitely do.
He's given a few talks about like URL parser bugs and SSRF. It's all on YouTube, so you can check it out.
Right, right. Yeah, no, that's awesome.
So,
Thanks
do
for
you
that.
have a security idol, by the way?
There's so many. There's so many.
Yeah.
I like so we're having this German hacking group of ours where only German people are invited. I mean, I'm actually not German, but I'm Austrian, but they
Hmm.
fortunately let me in as well. And for example, there is a Damian 89, who is one of
Hmm.
those guys who automates everything. That's just mind
Hmm.
blowing to me. So that's one of those guys I mentioned before where I've seen his framework and it's crazy, like what this guy's doing.
Hmm.
But yeah, there's many others. But I guess I always love the idea of automating everything,
Hmm.
and he's top notch if
Hmm.
it comes to that.
Right. That makes sense. For these bug bounty hunting frameworks, are most of them like a bunch of bash scripts
No,
like stapled together, or is it like a full grown framework with different
that
features, different options?
it's crazy. Like when
Hmm.
I saw that, this is a year long, like a product that has been developed over years that you
Hmm.
could just run as a company actually. But they're
Wow.
but they're using this just for bug bounties and hacking.
Hmm. That's really cool. Yeah, I've never known that actually. I just assumed that people just use bash scripts to automate some of their tasks, like subdomain discovery and stuff like that. But that's really cool. Yeah.
That's how they start, and then they dive fully into it.
Wow. That's
Oh,
really awesome. I mean, I hope someday I have the opportunity to check out some of these frameworks, just like try to use them. That would be awesome.
yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
anyway, so I have one last question for you as well.
Sure, go for
Um,
it.
what what is your favorite thing about the security community?
The community, the entire security community,
Hmm.
or more like the Buck Bunny world of it.
It's your choice. Yeah, just about the security community in general and about the bug bounty community as well.
Yeah, I do think that I mean we touched this a bit before, but I think everybody is just having this big willingness of sharing with everybody else, and some do
Hmm.
in the form of a blog, some do with a YouTube channel, but then even others who do not have any of that, they're just always
Hmm.
having an open ear for you if you ask them on Twitter. I mean, Twitter is, I guess,
Hmm.
the biggest place to go
Hmm.
if you wanna get in touch with the security community, and it's just amazing. Like,
Hmm.
I've been talking to so many people over there, and I never got anybody not willing to help out. It's awesome.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I really love the security community because everyone's just so passionate about security, you know? And something that I really love about finally having a full-time job and finally having colleagues is actually that I have people that I can talk to things that I'm passionate about now. Because before I was very much a freelancer and my friends weren't into cybersecurity at all. So it can feel like, oh, I have no one to bounce off ideas with, or I have no one to discuss with. And I feel like with the security community and with my current job, I just discovered this whole new world of other people who also care about what I care about, and that is just amazing to me.
That makes total sense. I
Hmm.
can totally relate to that for sure.
Hmm.
All right. Thank you very, very much, Vicky, for having this talk together with me today. It
Thank you
was
for having me.
it was exciting.
Hmm.
And yeah, with that, have a good day over in the US.
Thank you. Have a good night over in Austria.
I will. I will. I luckily still have like 4 hours to go, but
Oh, that's true. Yeah. What are you doing for the weekends, by the way?
weekend coming up. I do have a Super Bowl is coming up, so I guess that's.
Oh,
I'm a huge football fan. That's an
uh huh.
American. I know Europeans, but
American football?
American football. Yeah,
Uh huh.
Europeans are super into that as well. So I'm super excited about Sunday. So that's, I guess, my main thing that I'm going to do. Watch that, and I mean, for us that means staying up until 5 a.m. in the morning, which is terrible.
Yeah, literally. Well, I hope you have fun then with the Super Bowl.
What are you doing?
Big plans this weekend actually. At least it's big plans during the pandemic. I'm having this one friend over for brunch, and I haven't had that for like the whole year, so I'm super excited.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, so I'm so excited.
All right. Well, with that, everyone, make sure to check out all other videos of Vicky. Check out my channel as well.
Hmm.
Subscribe, and yeah, we'll, I guess, see each other soon.
Yeah. Bye bye.